I'm ruling by the grace of God. Discourage people who want to have wedding until they can prove to us that if the man cannot prove that at least he have 100,000 CDs in his bank account, he shouldn't have a wedding. What you need is the man and the woman. I want you people to know this. I want us to stop this thing of these white weddings. And for you single women, stop this thing where you want the man to wed you. Stop this wedding. Marriage is not wedding.
Just watch the details.
About 2 weeks ago, a statement made by one of Ghana's most respected spiritual leaders ignited a national conversation, and I quote, "People should not be allowed to marry if the man cannot prove he's got about 100,000 in his account." In fact, let's take a look at this video.
I'm ruling by the grace of God. Discourage people who want to have wedding until they can prove to us that if the man cannot prove that at least he have 100,000 CDs in his bank account, he shouldn't have a wedding. What you need is the man and the woman. I want you people to know this. I want us to stop this thing of these white weddings. And for you single women, stop this thing where you want the man to wed you. Stop this wedding. Marriage is not wedding. Because you see, I'm telling you this, and those of you who give people money to go and marry, who don't have, if they don't have money, they shouldn't marry. Because marriage is not love. Love don't buy provision. Love don't pay the bills. I'm not saying we shouldn't help people who want to marry, but we need to have about 5 or 10 marriage Sunday morning on the altar here. Everybody takes their ring. No best man, no maid of honor, no bridesmaid, nothing. We just pronounce the blessing of God. Go home, make love, make babies, live your life. All these things they do, what do you call it? Reception. Wedding. Why do you have to do a reception? Why do you have to bring people to come and eat and drink your food free? Why?
For some, it was wisdom. For others, it felt a little discouraging. But for many Ghanaian youth out there, it's ignited questions, critical questions about love, responsibility, faith, and the true state of the Ghanaian economy as per their pockets. Today, we are not here to sensationalize a sound bite. We are here to understand the thinking behind it, to interrogate the implications, and of course, to ask the many questions Ghanaians are asking in their homes, offices, churches, and on social media about general issues, about social issues, and of course, on the political scene as well. Joining us today is His Eminence, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, the leader and the founder of Action Chapel International, and of course, a leader when it comes to the voice that shapes our spiritual and moral discourse in our dear country, Ghana. Your Eminence, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
God bless you.
My pleasure.
And a happy new year as well.
Many happy returns.
It's a new year, fresh beginnings, fresh starts, and all of that. What's your favorite part about new beginnings?
I believe that new beginnings, for me, every day is a new beginning.
Okay, so not just in January 2026 or 2027?
No, because all that has changed. The difference between 2025 and 2026 is calendar change. And the Bible said, this is the day that the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. So a new beginning is a mindset, and it's also an attitude, that every day can be a new beginning. Every day can be a brand new day. But the mercies of God are renewed every morning. Great is his faithfulness. So every morning you obtain new mercy for a new start and a new day. Give us this day our daily bread.
Indeed. Your Eminence, were you surprised? Sometimes.
Just call me Papa, please.
Okay, so I'll call you Papa. For the purposes of this interview, I'll call him Papa. So, Papa, sometimes one statement can ignite a whole national conversation. Were you surprised about the amount of response you've received over the statement?
I wasn't surprised because I believe that is a serious subject or issue that needs a national conversation to look at it from different perspectives, to bring about clarity, and to also help our youth today, because if something is not done, this can create some very serious problems, and it's becoming a pandemic.
Papa, in your own words, you said people should not be allowed to have weddings, especially if the man cannot prove that he's got about 100,000 in his account. Exactly what did you mean, Papa?
Seriously speaking, it's just a word in passing, because you know of a truth that if you really want to have a wedding today, as we all know and understand, you need more than 100,000 anyway to do a wedding. What I was trying to establish is people should understand that marriage is not just love or looks, but it's responsibility. And it looks like everybody is preparing for the wedding or for the engagement, but we don't prepare for after the marriage, after the wedding day. And so many people come to see me for help to marry. And I tell them, no, you can't marry. You don't have what it takes.
You don't give them the money?
No, I won't.
Why?
I won't give you money, because if you don't have money, why are you going to marry? Marriage is responsibility. It takes money to marry. It doesn't just take love to marry. That's what the Bible says, for this purpose shall a man leave his father and mother. A man is one that has come of age, one that is responsible, not a boy. Boys are dependent, but men are independent. So if you are not a man, means you are not responsible. You haven't planned, saved, prepared. You are not qualified to marry. And I don't think that even parents who can afford paying for the weddings or marriages of their kids should encourage that. If you want to give them money, put it in a savings account to help them, do something simple, and let them begin their lives with something in their account. Because a lot of people are marrying, just going around begging and borrowing money, and become beggars. And it is not healthy. So the 100,000 was just a statement I made, but of a truth. If you really want to have a wedding the way they do it here in Africa today, you need more than 100,000 if you put all that it takes to have a wedding, from the suit, the shoes, the maid of honor, the best man, wedding cake, reception, the pictures, the video, you name it.
Right.
So it was just a statement I made in passing, but I'm not saying that you should have 100,000 CDs before you marry. It depends on what you can afford. And some people can marry with less than that, and some can marry with more. But if you can afford it, and it's not somebody doing it for you, giving you that money, going around begging, borrowing, then fine, marry.
Papa, some people have a lot of social capital. They have a lot of friends and acquaintances. They all want to be part of the big day. What's wrong if I go and see one or two people that, hey, I found somebody that I want to marry. Can you please help with 10,000? Can you help with 5,000 and 2,000? That's why they are friends and family after all.
It's still wrong, because you are still not a man. You are not responsible. How are you going to take care of the woman after the marriage? Are you still going to go to all these friends and family to be asking for money? When she gets pregnant, she's throwing up, and she has a different appetite to eat different things, and then she goes to the hospital. Who pays the hospital bill, the doctor's bill, medications? You go back to your family and your friends. You're not responsible. You're not ready. So it's not just about you love the person. You have to be responsible. And these kind of mentality and attitude in our society. Oh, let's help him. Oh, let's help them. We are not doing justice to future generations. We are making them irresponsible. They must take responsibility. They have to save. They have to save for the child coming, for the pregnancy, for the school fees, for the medicals, and some of them don't even have a place to stay. Some live in somebody's boys' quarters, they live in an uncompleted house, and you married again, you take it to an uncompleted house. And others also marry and they go and stay in the girls, with the girl's father and mother, parents. Now, there's nothing wrong about that. Right. But I'm saying that you have to be responsible because men have a need, and the need of every man is respect. And that is very important. And the need of every woman is affection. So if you begin the marriage staying with the parents of the woman for a while, whilst you are preparing yourself to move into your own house or your own rented house, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people do it in a way where the woman begins to lose respect for you. And as soon as she loses respect for you, the marriage is over. Because she'll begin to misbehave, despise you, look down upon you. And then you also feel like, I can't show her affection and love if you mishandle me, disrespect me, because the need of every man is respect. But a woman is not going to respect you and submit to you when you can't pay the bills. And when you marry and you are staying in her father's house and mother's house, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that is not the problem. If you have to do that for a season, do it. But it shouldn't be permanent. And you must have a plan. And these are things that must be discussed and agreed upon before you say, I do. Like on the 20th of March, we are having a seminar. 5 things you must know before you say, I do. And if you don't know them and you marry, you'll be in problem. You have problems.
Papa, with that being said, are you not discouraging the young men in this country or even in the church who have found love and want to settle down? Are you not discouraging them because they don't have the 100,000 threshold?
I'm not talking about 100,000 here. I'm talking about being prepared, ready, and being responsible. So it's not about 100,000, okay, 50,000, 10,000, or 20,000. So
what does being prepared look like for you or according to you?
You have to save. You must have what it takes to be able to take care of another person or individual. And a lot of people can't take care of even themselves, much more taking care of somebody else. And I'm saying that marriage is a responsibility. It's not just a matter of love. The Bible didn't say, for this purpose shall a man. He didn't say, for love shall a man leave his father. He said, for this purpose. You know, purpose. So marriage is about purpose, fulfilling purpose. You know, so it comes with responsibility. And for instance, I was telling the church the other day that one of the reasons why a lot of women are not married is because they are not wives material. And a lot of men are not also husband material. There's a difference between being a woman and being a wife. There's a difference between being a man and being a husband.
What's the difference?
And even a father.
What's the difference?
There are differences, you know. So the Bible says he that finds a wife. It didn't say he that finds a woman, but a wife. So a wife here has to do with an office. It has to do with what you have become. You become a wife. You are not born a wife. You are born a woman. You are born a boy or a man or male or female. To become a wife, you become. So mothers must train their daughters to become wives. Fathers must train their boys or sons to become men and then husbands. And those are issues we are not dealing with in any of our educational system. Men are not groomed and trained to become a husband or to become a father. Years ago, I told my kids I was having some challenges, and I said, let me tell you something. I've never been a father before. This is my first time of being a father. So you all got to give me some break here because I'm learning on the job. Right. You know, but I should have been taught. before I became a father, what it means to be a dad. And we're not teaching this thing in our educational system. And we send all our children to the West, including all of us, because that's the norm, that is what happens. So we all do that. But there's nothing in our educational system here in Ghana, in Africa, or in the West that teaches our children how to become fathers, men, or teach our daughters how to become wives. So if you are not a wife material and you marry, you're going to have problems. And maturity is also important. I've seen that so many people, including some of my kids, who married under the age of 30 are having serious problems. And they will have problems because marriage is also maturity.
Papa, you've made a very salient point. So do you say that the right age for marriage should be over 30? Is that what you're saying, if I understand you correctly?
Honestly speaking, it all has to do with maturity.
Okay.
In the Jewish society, they see the number 30 as the number of maturity. And it is believed that the first 30 years of our lives are learning years. The second 30 years of our lives are within our achieving years. And the third 30 years of our life are within what they call our legacy years. Now, David became king at the age of 30 and ruled for 40 years. Joseph, 30. Jesus began his ministry at the age of 30. And so it's not just about the 30, but it speaks of maturity. Okay. That maturity is very important. Because I've seen people who are above 30 who are very immature, and others too mature. So it's all about maturity.
Right.
And when you become mature, you do right. And so somebody that is mature will understand that to marry, I have to be responsible. Am I responsible? Do I have what it takes to marry? And I think people should be honest with themselves, because sometimes all these weddings we're trying to do is too expensive. We waste a lot of money. For instance, take engagement. In the Western culture, you meet a woman and you fall in love with her, even though you don't go through all the stages that we'll be dealing with on the 20th of March before you say I do. And then, so in their culture, you give her a ring, it's a promise and a commitment that I will marry you.
Right.
In our culture here, engagement is what we call our traditional marriage. And by law, traditional marriage is a marriage. So you don't have to do engagement in our setting here, and then after that go and do the blessing in the church or the ordinance or go to registrar general.
Where the lady will wear the white gown and all of that?
You don't need all that, because the white gown, the fact of the matter, you wear it once and then after you throw it away. Even when a woman dies, you can't wear it, because by the time she dies, you can't wear it anymore. So what is the use of the wedding gown? Now, I'm not saying that if you can afford it and you have what it takes, you shouldn't do it. That's not what I'm saying. If you can afford it, do it. But if you have to go and borrow to buy a wedding gown, and then you marry, because what you must be thinking about is after the marriage. So whether you marry in the church, or you go to registrar general, or you do traditional between the two parents, it's all marriage. If you can afford it, and you have what it takes after the marriage to live a happy afterlife, then go ahead and do it. But don't try and do it when you haven't prepared to do it, when you don't have what it takes. It's creating too many problems. I was talking to a young pastor the other day, and he's planning to marry. So I asked him, how much have you saved? He said, nothing. So I said to the bishop, he's not qualified for counseling, nothing. I said, this is a problem. How are you going to marry somebody's daughter when you haven't saved a dime and he's planning to have a wedding? So what he's going to do is he's going to go around begging for money and marry with all those money he collects from people. And then after the marriage, he has nothing to make the marriage work. And then he becomes a beggar. Then it creates stress. And women don't deal with stress too well. And women and love don't buy food. Love don't buy food. pretty and handsome don't buy food. It's money that buys food. So all I'm saying is let people be responsible. That's all I'm saying. Be responsible, plan for it, save. Even if you are saving 200 cedis a month, 100 cedis a month for some time, you have something. And if you have something and your parents are also adding to it, that's fine. But even with that, you have to be very, very wise, because if you spend 50,000 or 20,000, whatever, on the marriage, and after the marriage you don't have anything, then you are beginning with zero. And that is a problem for me.
Papa, one side of the conversation says that we've dwelt a lot, or you dwelt a lot, on the man being prepared. How about the woman? Is she not supposed to be financially prepared also?
She has to. She has to be prepared. But this is debatable. And the thing here is, because a lot of men sometimes can disappoint women. This must be, it's a thin line. You got to handle this very, very carefully. Because I know women, and a lot of my daughters in the church, who will go out of their way if the man is serious to also contribute, put their monies together.
Right.
And sometimes after all that, the guy decides to go for somebody else. After they've contributed, they saved their money, they've done everything, purchased a land together, done everything together. And the guy decides that, you know what, I'm not interested. So that is another issue. But for me, I believe that marriage must be 100%, not 50-50. So if the man has 20,000 and the woman has 80,000, you must bring it together to make 100, and it's for both of you, because the two shall become one. In the true sense of scripture, that is the way it should be. But in the light of our today's society, and if you look at the what you call the nature of man, and the way we are, both men and women, it's difficult to tell somebody's daughter to bring her savings and add it to another person's savings to make it 100%. And then the guy decides, I'm not interested anymore, I've seen somebody else. And she's put all her savings into an account, and the guy takes the money and runs away. I mean, so it's debatable.
It is, because, Papa, sometimes you cannot determine the future. And just like you say in church, sometimes you've met the person and the feeling is there. And the feeling is there. But when you assess the man, you can tell that even if you gave this man 10,000 years, he won't be able to even raise 100,000. But maybe for you, the woman, God has blessed you and you're well-to-do. Would it be wrong if you want to sponsor the entire wedding?
Again, like I said, it's debatable. And it has to do with you as an individual. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. And one of the things you must really look out for when you're a woman and you go to marry a man is character.
Okay.
The character of the person, the values system of the person. Character, and Jesus said, you shall know them by their fruit, not by how handsome they are, not by how eloquent or gifted, or how good they smell. Character. So you have to, and you must also know what you want.
Right.
You must know the kind of man you deserve to marry. It's not just any man you can marry. So you got to know yourself. And that is what, and I think sometimes out of desperation, frustrations and everything, both sides, both men and women just give in and just settle for what comes. But you shouldn't settle. You shouldn't settle for anything. You must settle for what you deserve and what you want.
Okay. Does it matter if that comes early in life or a little later?
Again, it's debatable. Okay. It all depends again on you. And you have to know for yourself whether it comes early or later on in life. Are you ready for whoever it is? So you got to know yourself and ask yourself, am I ready for this? I think honesty, being honest with yourself is very important when it comes to marriage, because When I married the first time, I was 23. And if you ask me, why did I marry? I didn't know why I married. I didn't understand even what marriage was all about.
At the time?
At that time, I just married because they said you have to marry. You're a young pastor, you got to marry. So I married. And it took me years to understand what marriage was. And by that time, everything is messed up already. So the lack of understanding of what you are getting yourself into and the pressure of society. And today, if you look at social media and what we see and what we understand about marriage today on social media, is a big issue. You know, so again, you have to examine yourself, your motive, and ask yourself, why am I marrying? And like I said, if you're a woman, you must examine yourself. Am I a wife material?
Right.
No, I'm not marrying because I want to have kids, or my siblings or friends and everybody is marrying. Am I a wife material? Because if you are not, you are going to give the man problems. And the man, is he a husband material? Because if he's not, there's going to be problems here, because you are going to learn how to be a wife on the job. He is going to learn how to be a husband on the job. And there's going to be serious problems. And then also the man is going to learn how to be a father on the job. You are going to learn how to be a mother on the job. So for instance, you have your first baby. You got to go to work. He has to go to work. The baby is crying. Breastfeed the baby, still crying. And the man checks you. Your child, the baby is crying. Go take off. You say, I have to go to work early. Well, and that can create a serious issues. And we don't, in our counseling, when it comes to counseling people to marry, these are issues we don't tackle. We just get excited, oh, praise God, and we are happy they're going to get married. We push them into it. But we have to take a lot of things into consideration before we encourage people to marry, either traditional marriage or what do you call it, the customary, or you go and sign at the marriage registry, or you come to the church. Whatever, it's three types of marriages, you know, and you can check from the legal people. They will be able to give you a better perspective of that from the legal point of view.
Right.
But I'm saying that you don't have to give a woman an engagement ring and then do the traditional marriage, and then now go and get another ring. We call it the wedding ring, which is all the marriage, and then come to the church. You can do the traditional marriage, bring the pastor there, so God is represented, bring the AMA people
To sign. Okay.
Bless that marriage, it's done, you're married.
Papa, so if I get you correctly, the engagements, the one that the ladies who wear the kente, the men who wear the kaftan, either it's at a center for ceremonies or at home, that in its sense is fully marriage.
By law.
Afterwards, you don't need to add the signing and the white dress and all of that and the extra wedding band.
You don't need all that.
Okay.
But if you want to sign, it can be done the same day.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But whether you sign or you don't sign, it's still recognized as marriage
Legally
by
binding.
the law of Ghana.
Okay.
You can check that with our lawyers.
Right.
The fact is that it is believed that that traditional marriage, if you do that without signing the marriage registry, you can go around marrying more women and have as many wives as you want to. And that is allowed. But if you sign the marriage registry or that of the church, you have to annul that before you can remarry. Other than that, you are in breach of the law. I think they have a legal word for it, but you can check on all that.
Okay.
So I'm saying that it can be very simple. We don't have to spend all the monies we spend. I've seen so many young men and women in our churches. They come to see me for prayer and they are literally stressed out. Even for the traditional marriage, some of the things we ask for, akunta sikai, so and so sikai, way this, way that, is all necessary. Just make it simple. Our daughters are not for sale. You know, just make the thing very simple. Now, the whole thing is becoming an industry where we blow the whole thing and make it. So by the time they finish the engagement, which is the traditional marriage, and get to the church reception and everything, listen, too much waste, too much stress, too much fatigue and weariness, and then tension, and the conflict begins. And it's not necessary.
Papa, maybe lastly on marriage, knowing what you know now, what would you say is the true purpose of marriage?
The true purpose of marriage, there are different schools of thought or perspective. But as I understand it, it has to do with fulfilling God's purpose. God had a plan. He established this union called marriage right from the beginning in the book of Genesis. And if you really want to understand God's original intent, you have to go back to the beginning, because everything God did is after a pattern. And I believe that it has to do with God's purpose, that through the man and the woman becoming one and being in partnership, produce children, replenish the earth, subdue the earth, so we develop after our own kind, whom God has made us to be, and empower generations that comes after us to carry out God's agenda in replenishing the earth and subduing it and having dominion and being fruitful, and it all comes into an understanding of God's original intent and partnership, that he gave the dominion mandate to man, and Adam and Eve were supposed to carry out the dominion mandate and then hand it over to the generation after them, and then the generation after them hands it over, because God is a generational God. He's a trans-generational God. He said to Abraham, I will bless you so you can be a blessing. Then he said, I will bless thee and be a God to you and your seed after you in their generation. Right. So God is a generational God. So whatever the original intent, it's continue and has not changed. And it began with Adam and Eve, male and female. Be blessed, be fruitful, reproduce after your own kind, and let them also reproduce after their own kind, fulfilling the dominion mandate where the earth is concerned.
Papa, just because you've mentioned the original intent of God, let me just touch on this issue. So many people in recent times have been talking about sexuality and identity, still tying it to family values. And recently in our teacher's manual, even though it's been corrected, some portion of it said that gender necessarily does not conform to what you were giving as male or female when you were born. It's a feeling, a deep feeling or a deep experience of who you think you are. Some African countries frown on same-sex marriages and all of that. Northern Nigeria is an example. Uganda, Sudan is an example. And internationally, recently we even heard President Trump, the President of America, saying that for him, gender is male and female. End of discussion.
Yeah, I agree with President Trump. Again, like I said, if you want to know God's original intent, you go to the beginning, Genesis. God didn't create Adam and David. He didn't create Eve and Susie. It was Adam and Eve, male and female. That is the original intent, period.
Okay. Point blank, period. I think that's where it would end. Now, Papa, you are a strong advocate for young people. Action Chapel is known for propagating the gospel of getting young people to be upright. In recent times, we've seen a lot of drug abuse. I'm sure you heard about Unim Red campaign. And in recent times also, the National Communications Authority, together with the Ministry of Communications, have been clamping down on cyber crime. It looks like the Ghanaian youth are not safe anymore. They are just towing the line of cybercrime and drugs and all of that. What's the role of the church, and what do you make of this situation?
We live in very challenging and difficult times in the history of humanity. The gospel is the only solution, I believe, to some of these things, because in our time, we didn't have internet. Social media is a big issue right now for today's youth or for today's generation. And I believe that if we have ever preached the gospel, it is now than ever before, because it is the power of God unto deliverance. According to scripture, there is nothing that cures and has the power to heal or to deliver like the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I believe that as never before, we have to do more than we are doing by taking the gospel and the word of God to the youth of today, and to let them know that, you see, the other thing when it comes to this drug thing is also an issue of identity crisis, because a lot of people don't know who they are.